The vast weight of evidence presented so far has shown us that the central cause of January 6th was one man, Donald Trump.
So if you were wondering as to what the temperature of today's January 6th hearing was going to be, well, it was set pretty early by Liz Cheney during her opening remark, in which she foreshadowed the focus of this hearing. Trump knew what was going to happen and didn't care.
None of this would have happened without him. He was personally and substantially involved in all of it. Exactly how did one man cause all of this? Today, we will focus on President Trump's state of mind, his intent, his motivations, and how he spurred others to do his bidding, and how another January 6th could happen again if we do not take necessary action to prevent it.
Cheney's remarks were bookended by further evidence that was already provided showing Trump understood the severity of the situation, but that this was part of his game plan all along. The committee first presented a recording of former Trump advisors basically outlining that Trump was going to declare victory regardless.
And just a few days before the election, Steve Bannon, a former Trump chief White House strategist and outside advisor to President Trump, spoke to a group of his associates.
And what Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. It's going to be a firestorm.
This very same point was corroborated when a memo was shared dating back to October 31st, in which the Trump team had already drafted a memo that they would release declaring victory because basically only votes counted on election day mattered.
October 31st declares, "We had an election today and I won." And the Fitton memo specifically indicates a plan that only the votes counted by the election day deadline, and there is no election day deadline, would matter. Everyone knew that ballot counting would lawfully continue past election day. Claiming that the counting on election night must stop before millions of votes were counted was, as we now know, a key part of President Trump's premeditated plan.
And as Cheney concluded the meeting, she announced that, of course, the committee voted 9-0 to subpoena Trump.
This afternoon, I am offering this resolution that the committee direct the chairman to issue a subpoena for relevant documents and testimony under oath from Donald John Trump in connection with the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. If there's no further debate, the question is on agreeing to the resolution. Those in favor will say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed is no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote is requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Cheney.
Aye.
Ms. Cheney, aye. Ms. Lofgren.
Aye.
Ms. Lofgren, aye. Mr. Schiff.
Aye.
Mr. Schiff, aye. Mr. Aguilar.
Aye.
Mr. Aguilar, aye. Mrs. Murphy.
Aye.
Mrs. Murphy, aye. Mr. Raskin.
Aye.
Mr. Raskin, aye. Mrs. Luria.
Aye.
Mrs. Luria, aye. Mr. Kinzinger.
Kinzinger, aye.
Mr. Kinzinger, aye. Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, aye.
The clerk will report the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, there are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
It is utterly preposterous that it is still a conversation that Trump was in no way responsible for the events on January 6th. Today's hearing proved that this seed was sown long before then, knowing that they would lose and that their only shot was to incite chaos.
We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue
And allow the despicable minions of the MAGA Republican Party to pour water on that seed until it grew into a violent insurrection.
and we're going to the Capitol. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride
The vast weight of evidence presented so far has shown us that the central cause of January 6th was one man, Donald Trump, whom many others followed.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.